The biggest myth about communication is that it happens.
In a media-rich environment, knowing where the tally light is. Because if the tally light's here and I'm talking over here, I've missed them.
You missed them. Communication, when done properly and done right, is going to lead to understanding. Understanding that leads to knowledge. Every content must serve.
You have to choose the language of the person listening. Who am I speaking to? Who is this for? How can I use that to get the message across?
This is the best example of there's a biblical principle that says, by beholding, you become changed. By beholding, you become changed. And in fact, the way my mind works, with my personal flavor of neural divergence, I have to see it. It doesn't mean that I actually have to see it physically done, but I have to visualize it in my brain before I can actually do it. I have to see a version of it, even if what I do is completely different than the thing that I embody or the thing that I am looking to go and do. I have to have an example before I can move forward. And it's a biblical principle, as I mentioned, that by beholding, when we see something, when we're exposed to something, that's why getting into the right circles is a great thing. That's why having a coach can be a critical thing. That's why once you begin to hang with folks who are way out of your current sphere, things begin to elevate. Your mind opens. You begin to think differently, because by beholding, you become changed. This happens on the negative side as well, where if you never saw, pornography before, and then you behold it, and now it's like, okay, that now becomes a part of your baseline. If you never saw domestic violence before, but once you behold it, right, this is why, unfortunately, people who have been abused sometimes turn around and become abusers, because by beholding, you become changed. This is why it's so critical that we have to guard the avenues of our mind, our eyes, our ears, what we ingest. But I share all of this to say right here at the outset of today's podcast episode that one of the things that really has helped me in my journey, being a media professional, being in technology, and merging them all into media ministry, has been being able to see an example, to see somebody who is actually doing it. And so today we do not have our usual co-host, which is Tiana Nixon. We miss her. She's usually with us, but today I'm able to sit with one of my mentors, Dr. Bryant Taylor, who is joining us for the podcast today. And I want to say, what's up, Dan? It's good to have you here, man.
It's good to be here, man.
Absolutely.
It's always good to sit with you.
Absolutely. So BT, as we affectionately call him, we also call him the Don. That's a whole nother story for another time. But BT has been in media ministry. He's been in the tech guy. He has been a pastor. I mean, that's his vocation, his training. But he has looked at ministry from a number of different angles, and it is I mean this quite seriously and genuinely. There are so many of us within our faith tradition, but even outside of that have been able to look at ministry in different ways because of what you have done, and that has drastically influenced my life and trajectory and what I've thought was possible, right? Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, they want me to be a media pastor? I called up BT immediately, like, what's this? And he was like, yeah. I've done it before. And you see, this is what I mean by beholding, we become changed, because we can start to recognize the ways that this thing can work. And I believe sincerely, this is how it all works, right? That's the name of the podcast.
Yes.
Is that when we see something, we can model it. We can emulate it. This is why even in the parenting realm, it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. Right? It's the child emulating what they see, not necessarily what you're telling them to do. And exposure is so critical. I tell my mentees all the time, collect experiences like you collect trading cards. And so BT has had a story, is still in the climax of what I would call a storied career. I mean, listen, I'm gonna make you blush here for a little bit, because I want people to understand the receipts. This man has done media ministry. He has done web design. I remember Tech Talk from way back in the day with Chip Dizard, is something that I used to follow. my wife and I both attribute a lot of what we do to this man sitting next to me, and then of course Damien Desard, who we affectionately call Chip. So much that they've poured in and given us opportunities. And so one of the things I want to say right here in terms of the How It All Works podcast, and for those that are watching, you've got to get into spaces where the unknown becomes attainable. You get a chance to see it. And I've never done a podcast before. Well, go and be on a podcast. Well, go shadow somebody who's doing a podcast. Go and sit in the room so you can see how it works, how it all works, and see how it happens, how it all comes together. BT, you. So first of all, let's just take a second and just kind of share with folks what you're currently doing right now. You work for a large NGO and manage public relations and communications for the southern region of the United States. Yes. And but that's just on paper. But what does that look like practically on a day-to-day basis?
So on a day-to-day basis, as part of that is also editor of a large publication.
That's right.
170,000 subscriptions a month. So that happens on a day-to-day basis. We also do all the crisis management.
There we go. Yeah.
And so when you're covering a region that
has
has
an aspect
8
of
states,
communications that most people don't even look at. Yeah.
You're covering a region that has 8 states. There's always crisis.
Yeah, 8 states that are in the southern region of the United States that is prone to tornadoes and hurricanes.
Hurricanes, yes.
And Trump, let me leave it. Hey, it's all kinds of natural disasters.
Lawsuits are always happening.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so that always occurs.
Yeah.
And when it's quiet, you're comfortable. But you're anxious.
You're anxious.
you're comfortable, you relax, but you're anxious.
Yeah.
And so that happens. And so I get to work with a large group of communication professionals from universities, from health systems,
right.
From the religious side, from the secular side.
Right.
And so in that environment, it keeps you moving.
Yeah. So
that you're always on the edge. You have to stay on the cutting edge to help somebody else.
To help somebody else, yeah, you do. Yeah.
And so I'm always in a learning mode. I'm sitting in this room,
absolutely
capturing things and taking them in.
I love that
because I try to stay in a learning mode.
This is so good. In my opinion, this is again one of those aspects of how it all works is that you do need to be a lifelong learner. And you need to find spaces, and it gets harder with time to find spaces where you can be a student. But we have to be intentional about finding spaces where you're not the expert, where you can be the student. I just recently joined another mastermind group coaching program with a creator that is way ahead of me in his spaces. But a lot of things that I aspire to be is in that space, because even as I coach, even as I train, as I do things with people, I still have to find spaces where I'm not the expert. And that is so good as well. One of the other things I want to touch on before we get into our core question for today is you are also an avid media professional. Now, what I mean by this, he is a photographer par excellence. I mean, like, you've got to see some of his photography work in order for you to understand. But not just a photographer par excellence, but you've got the gear to go with it, right? I mean, sometimes I'll see this guy at an event and we're talking, the lens is bigger than both of us. So just talk through some of your passion for media and photography, video, and where that come from, because your background and your original, your vocation and training is in religion, is in theology.
Yes. I am, by nature, I'm a visual.
Yes.
So I learn by seeing. You can put it in print and I'm going to read it.
Nice.
But while I'm reading it, I'm picturing it in my head.
Got it. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it like that before.
So if I'm reading instructions for something,
you're seeing it. I
have to see how that fits together in my head.
Good.
So I'm visual by nature.
Good.
And so if I'm visual, I believe everybody else is visual.
Absolutely.
I just think that, even though I know it's not true.
No, but the way we learn is how we teach.
So that's my big premise is that, in fact, that was my doctorate.
Okay.
I went out to prove it. And so 70% of any audience is visual.
Woo.
And they learn by seeing.
Okay.
And when I began to write about that and research that, then I said, so then why are a lot of the things that we do only auditory?
Okay. Even from a ministry perspective.
Even from a ministry perspective.
Even from a public speaker,
from a public speaking, from
class,
teaching,
right, teaching,
from anything,
right.
You're losing 70% of your audience.
Yikes.
Because there's 70% of the people in that room that are saying, what does that look like?
Whew.
And so I take that, it's easy to do it in photos.
Yeah.
But you have to be sure to tell the story in the photo. And not just capture a shot.
That's a difference.
I last night I did a photo of a young man playing a cello. And it's easy to take a picture of a person playing a cello, but if you look at the photo, you would think he's just sitting there.
Yeah, because it's a moment.
It's a moment, so you have to slow down the shutter speed
to
show the motion of the bow and the hand and the fingers.
Yeah.
So you slow it down so that it blurs, and you realize, oh, his hand is moving.
He's in motion.
Yeah, and so you see that's one of the M's of it, to show the motion and the emotion of it. Yeah.
Oh my, I love that, and I can already see, of course, the tie into what I started with in terms of by beholding we become changed. Sometimes you need to see it in order for you to know that something is possible. But in addition to that, I see this very much part and parcel with your ministry pursuits as well. Because what it means is that you're able to take your way of thinking and apply that to sharing the gospel in ways that allows people to see it, in ways that allows people to touch it, taste it, feel it, and be like, okay, I can do something with that.
Yeah.
And that is powerful. In fact, I think the stat that you just shared is one that will be absolutely critical and useful for our audience, because I mean, if you're not using some kind of visual something, you're losing 70%.
70%, yes.
You know, I have clients who are like, well, I want to do the podcast, and I'm just going to do audio to start out with. I don't really have a camera, and I'm like, you can still. It doesn't matter if the camera is of high quality, even if you set up your phone on a tripod. I would still admonish to capture the video. Yes. Because the video has a way of engaging at a different level or a different group. And even if you never put the video out, you can take the snippets and make shorts and reels from that video to put on other platforms that are video first, like Instagram or YouTube, and drive your traffic back to your long form audio podcast. And so it's just because there are people who they're going to see it. And when they see it, that's what's going to draw them in.
And that's what draws them in.
That's absolutely awesome.
And the other thing that you do well is there's the visuals, but there's the kinesthetics.
Ooh.
And then there are the digitals, the tactile people.
Digital, tactile. Come on.
You do it well because you make sure that people engage with you by typing.
I always try to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so you'll tell them, hey, talk to me.
Talk to me.
What does that mean? What did you think about that? And
get
so
that feedback.
And so for that tactile person, they're typing, they get to feel the keys.
Yeah.
And give their response the emotion of what they're feeling and what they're thinking.
I've never thought of it that way. But
and so that's how they're learning, because they're responding through their hands because it's tactile.
Tactile responses. And this is one of the reasons why I love live content, is because there is that live feedback. There's this two-way street. And that's some of the strategy that we try to employ, even in the masterclass that we have here, Your Next Video Done, Friction to Flow Masterclass. One of the things that we try to share with people is these strategies that help them to hit on some of those boxes, check those boxes, and allow your audience to fully be engaged. That's one of the reasons why live video is watched more than any other type of video. That's one of the reasons why when you can get from live video all the other types of content, but you can't get any live video from any of the other types of content, because there is this two-way street, and there's this built-in feedback loop immediately. And so, man, the kinesthetic piece, you have the visual, you have the auditory, you're checking all those boxes. That's gold.
Yeah,
that's
and,
gold.
and you do the kinesthetic part well, because you will place a well-timed video clip in the middle of something, and the person says, "Ooh, I felt that one."
Yeah.
Because that's how they learn. They learn through their feelings.
Mercy.
They learn through their feelings. They learn through their emotions.
Yeah.
And you will place some things in, and it's just in the back playing, and you're still talking.
Yeah.
And the person's in there saying, wait, what did he just say?
Yeah. Because they've tuned into something
they've
else.
tuned into
Right.
they've tuned into the other thing.
Ooh.
Yeah. And they're like, wait, what? And so I find myself many times having to go back and scrub it backwards.
Right.
To go back and hear what it was, because that thing hit me. I was like, oh.
Yeah. And it sometimes even being able to grab B-roll or stock video, which sometimes can be clips from movies and different things, to respond, because like a lot of times for my hook, I'll try to do something like have you ever thought about such and such and such? And then I'll have a clip from, a movie or something, maybe an Iron Man or something, where you're like, man, I've always thought of it that way. And then I will continue because, but it makes it's the response from someone else that captures the attention of the audience, and where they're thinking what that clip is actually saying on screen. So there's some ways, one of the things I love about our conversations, and we kind of dance all over the place. Communication. Here's a theory that I recently heard. The biggest myth about communication is that it happened.
Yes.
The biggest myth about communication is that it's taking place. It's that it's effectively happening. And communication, when done properly and done right, is something that is going to lead to understanding.
Yes.
A base understanding that leads to knowledge. So communicators like yourself find them, they come in all shapes and sizes. Of course, we talked about the different learning styles, but what are some of the communication styles that are out there as well? You've had, in your storied career, you've had the ability and privilege to see, all the different modalities rise. Some of them fall, some of them, go to the next level, innovate. Now we're looking at AI, even though AI has kind of been there in the background percolating for some years. It's really come to prominence in the last year or so, and it's really taking off. How have you been able to kind of navigate all of those shifts from a communicator's standpoint, and be able to leverage it to continue to make sure that effective communication is continuing to happen?
So for me, I'm a first adapter.
I like that.
So if it's there, I'm trying.
You're gonna try it. Yeah.
I'm trying it. And I tried with the thought, how can I use that to get the message across? Whatever it is.
Right.
And depending on the audience,
right,
is which one I choose.
Got you.
Because that method may not be appropriate for a certain audience. Not in terms of age, but in terms of their learning style, in terms of where they are in life, in terms of what they're looking for. Who am I speaking to? Who is this for? Right. Yeah. So let me pick the thing that is going to be appropriate for them. I'm not using Facebook and I'm trying to reach 12 and 13-year-olds.
Right. That's for my age group. They're gone. Yeah, they're gone. They're on GroupMe. They're on Snapchat. Yeah, they're not even in the traditional platforms.
So I turn. My mother-in-law lives with us. I will turn on the honeymooners, and she'll sit down and laugh with me.
Okay.
I turn on the honeymooners. My wife says, "Oh, you're watching those old shows."
Right.
She has no frame of reference for Jackie Gleason.
Come on.
Of how comical he was. She's like, "Oh, you're watching the old guy on the old shows." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So I know not to use that to get her to come have a dinner date with me and watch old movies, because she's like, "Why are we doing this?"
Right. Yeah.
And so it's the same thing in communication.
Right.
You have to choose the language of the person listening.
Yeah, you got to do your homework.
Yeah.
And understand your audience.
We want to use the language that we speak. We need to use the language of the person that's listening.
This is so good. It's so good. A good in the same cohort that I'm in for this masterclass thing that I'm doing. He's also a believer. In fact, he's also a pastor. And one of the things he shared with us when we were talking about, how do you set up a good hook? You only get like a couple of seconds to start your video, a couple of seconds to grab that attention. And what he said was, you need to say it the way they need to hear it,
Okay.
not necessarily the way that you want to say it.
Okay.
You've got to figure out a way to say it in the way that they need to hear it. And so he went to Matthew 11:28. He went to the Great Commission. Not Great Commission. He said, "Come unto me, all ye who are weary and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." This is what Jesus says. And he broke that down, and he was saying, this is the best example of a hook that I could ever give you, because Jesus is not saying it in a way that he wants to say it. Because what he wants to say is, I'm salvation.
Right.
I have salvation. I can give you. I can give you salvation. But what he says is, come unto me. He says it in verbiage and language that we need to hear. All you who are weary and heavy laden. So now I've got to self-identify. I am weary. I am heavy. I've got burdens. Right? And I will give you rest. That's all I've been looking for. He never says salvation, never says eternal life. That's what he's talking about. But he says it in a language that his core audience, his target market, needs to hear it. And this is where what you're saying, it just resonates. Understanding who it is you're talking to so that you can say it or utilize methodology or platforms or tools that speak in their native tongue. Yes. That's so good.
Yeah. And
that's
so
good.
It's in a media rich environment, it's knowing where the tally light is. Because if the tally light's here and I'm talking over here, I've missed them.
You missed them.
They're like, so they'll look like, what's over there?
The tally light, I love it.
And so it's the same thing in the audience.
Right.
It's knowing where's the tally light in that audience. Let me speak there.
Speak right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right in that lane.
Yeah.
Right in that. Right. Like let me enroll with that pain point and really go deep with it, and ensure that they know that there's mastery here. And in a lot of instances, there's credibility. Meaning, I've experienced it too.
Okay. Yes.
I'm saying what you're experiencing because I have also experienced it, but I'm on the other side now. And so now all I'm saying is, come on over.
Yes. Come on over.
I figured it out. And I've got the cheat code. I don't want you to experience what I experienced. So come on through. And when we talk about how it all works in terms of content, we're talking about media, we're talking about ministry, we're talking about just life in general. By beholding, you become changed, meaning you got to see something. You got to expose yourself. Planned exposure is a great thing.
Yes. Yes.
Getting yourself into spaces where you are not the expert, getting yourself into spaces that you're somewhat uncomfortable because you've not necessarily seen it or done it in that way before. But in addition, getting yourself into spaces where you're able to see a glimpse of what tomorrow may look like. What are some of the things that you have opportunity to do? What are some of the issues that may rise? But then in addition to that, how do we communicate in a way that is effective and efficient so that we can serve who we want to serve well?
Yes.
I believe we're all called to do something. And listen, some people don't like the terminology of serve because they're not necessarily in the faith space, and I get that. But that's all a business does.
Yes.
Like when I say a server, you're either thinking about a high capacity computer, or you're thinking about your waiter or waitress at the restaurant.
Yes.
But in either case, that's not necessarily religious. It's just the way that you serve. Every business, every channel, every content must serve, even if it's from an entertainment standpoint, edutainment standpoint, education, how-to, lifestyle, vlog. It doesn't matter. You are serving an audience. And if you want to serve that audience well, you got to be able to master the communication piece.
Yes.
But also, you need to get yourself into spaces where you can be exposed.
Yeah. And that whole idea, I like the idea you have of by beholding you become changed.
Yeah.
But you also have to be careful with that.
Agreed.
Because you can behold some negative things.
Absolutely.
And they will change you.
And they will change you.
And they will change you. One of the people that had the greatest influence in my life had a rotator cuff injury. And so they would walk like this while it was recovering.
Right.
That was 25 years ago.
Oh, my word.
3 days ago, I was walking around the house like this.
Come on.
And I was like, what am I doing? And then it clicked. Oh,
I'm still modeling.
this is how so-and-so used to walk.
Yeah, I'm still emulating.
And so you have those hallucinations
right.
that will come back, and you have to catch yourself. Wait, that's not the goal.
That's not the goal.
Yeah. It helps you to learn.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the goal. Because you will repeat those same things not knowing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good, Doc. That's so good. You know, I personally, as we wrap things up, I personally have enjoyed, you know, being able to have access and to be able to give you a call in different seasons, be able to reach out and say, man, just a quick message sometimes, or a text, or sometimes a quick phone call, or we get a chance to work together in so many different capacities. And so that's always fun. But it has absolutely had impact on me and my life and my family. And I want to just say here publicly, I appreciate that. Yeah, just as a final word to somebody who's watching right now, and you know, it's starting to come together. It's starting to kind of click. It's like, okay, I'm starting to see the theme, the motif of how it all works. I'm starting to see, you know, how life kind of fits together, and how this content piece has kind of been there from the beginning. You know, right in the Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created. God told us He was a creator before He said anything else. But that person that's there, they're thinking through some things. Some things are starting to galvanize and become clear. What would you share with them as kind of a final thought of encouragement and motivation as they look to embark on content, as they look to embark on utilizing visual media, and to really engage their audience in that full way, right? Not just auditory, but also visual, kinesthetic, and tactile. What would you say to that person as they look to embark upon that? There's just a couple of steps for them to really go and launch into that arena.
Well, one, it's right in front of you.
Good.
But you don't think it's anything.
Yeah.
Because it's right in front of you.
Because it's right in front of you.
It's the one thing that you think about when you're not thinking. It's the easiest thing for you to think about, and you don't because nobody wants to know about that.
Nobody wants to know about that.
That's just a little something that I'm interested in.
Right.
That's just a little something that I do.
Right.
Some of the greatest shows that are out now are the little something that nobody would be interested in.
Yeah. So true.
Who would be interested in trucks driving on the ice in Alaska? And it's one of the greatest shows, Ice Road Truckers.
You're so right.
It's Ice Road Truckers.
You're so right.
Heavy haulers.
Yeah, heavy haulers. Yeah.
You know,
cutting grass. I mean, who would have thought?
Timber Titans.
Oh my word.
So it's something that is right there that you know very well.
Yeah.
You just think no one's interested in it.
Yeah.
But believe me, they are. They're just waiting for it.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah. So take that. And run with it.
Yeah.
You can do it in your sleep.
It comes natural to you.
Because it comes natural.
Right.
The danger of being able to do it in your sleep is that you don't prepare. So you have to prepare. As well as you know it, you have to prepare. Script it out.
Yeah.
Lay it out.
Yeah.
1, 2, here's
what it is.
Here are the 4 areas. Here's the beginning. Here's the middle.
Boom.
It's going to be a great opening. Here's the meat. Here's the dessert.
Yeah.
And lay it out. And then practice and rehearse that thing.
Come on.
And then sit down and hit record.
I love that. That's gold. I appreciate that, Doc. Man, this is a treat. Man, listen, y'all, you're getting a chance to have a window into my world, getting a chance to bring on different people. This is why I love the How It All Works podcast. This is why I love the podcast space, because it's in person, it's personal. We have a co-host now, and we're excited that she'll be back with us in the next episode, Taina Nixon. She's phenomenal. But excited to have with us today Dr. Bryant Taylor, BT, as we affectionately call him.
And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Here's what you don't know.
Okay.
Is you say that you are changed by beholding.
Mm-hmm.
But you never realize that people are watching you.
Come on.
And we often forget that.
It's so true.
We forget that we're being watched.
But we're yes.
Yeah, because the first time you said that, I was like, what are you talking about?
Okay.
Why would you be looking at something that I'm doing? You know?
Exactly.
But you're being watched.
Yeah.
And people are watching you, and they're emulating
what you do.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's why my thing is always be on the cutting edge.
Always.
And at the top of your game.
Come on.
Because if somebody's going to copy it,
Yeah.
make sure they get the good part.
You get the good parts.
If they're going to copy it, make sure they get the good
parts.
Yeah, make sure they get the good part.
That's gold, man. No. This has been rich. This has been a great time. BT, man, where can people follow? How can they, gain access to some of your genius? I know you got a couple of handles out there on Instagram.
So I'm on Instagram, BT. You'll find me there. Of course, I'm on Facebook because I'm old.
Right. Listen, we both on there.
Because I'm on Blue Sky.
Cool. You did the Blue Sky. Okay, dope.
I checked out Blue Sky.
Yeah.
So I'm
definitely cutting edge. You're definitely cutting edge, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, man, family, this has been another episode of the How It All Works podcast. And one of the things I wanted to make sure that you walk away with today in a very practical sense is there's somebody out there. I just feel that there's somebody out there who has been on the fence, kind of, you've been watching along. You've been trying to figure out, what is my motivator? How do I get started? Is it an internal motivation? Is it an external motivation? You've been kind of listening to some of the conversations, and you're hearing what BT and I are talking about today, and you're saying to yourself, I need to get started. I just want to encourage you. Don't mute that voice.
Don't mute it. Yeah.
Don't hit the mute button. It's playing, and maybe even right now it's getting a little bit louder. But don't mute that voice. Getting started can sometimes just look like getting out a pen and paper and writing out that note. Writing out, this is what that thing is. That's actually how How It All Works thing came to be. Is like, I was sitting talking to some friends, and they were like, what are you going to call that? I said, How It All Works. And they were like, there was silence on the phone call, and they were like, do you have that URL? And I was like, I do now. I just purchased it. Sometimes, listen, start scared, start unsure, start while you're not ready, because none of us were, none of us are. Like, there's nothing, the term says there's no there. People say, when I get there, I'll be ready. There is no there. And so there's no, I'll be ready when. Like, a child is born to parents who know for a certainty that they are not ready, and yet that child is coming. And so when you're looking to launch unsure, launch unready, and learn on the way. That's been my experience. That's been my story. And one of the things that have been a force multiplier for my success is getting into rooms and spaces where I can be a student, where I am not the expert, where I can get under tutelage, right? When I can be mentored by others and hear insight and perspective and expertise. That's why I want to invite you to the masterclass. Head on over to kirkarnugent.com, and you'll see the page there that says take the class. Would love to have you in our next masterclass, because I think that is going to give you the tools to get to the next level. It's going to give you the tools to have your next video done. It's going to give you the tools to remove the friction so that your content can flow. It's going to give you the tools and the language to be able to set everything up and have a framework for success. This is your boy Kirk Nugent, the Geek Speaker Preacher. Thankful for your time and attention. This has been another episode of the How It All Works podcast. Family, we'll see you in the next one. Grace and peace.